everyone. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay, let's just start back. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Magic Raincast. Today's topic is in conjunction with a very special day that last Tuesday, which is Star Wars Day. Because may the Force be with you. So I'm your host for today, Julia. I'm a new blood to the Star Wars franchise, but I'm interested to know more. And together with me is Natalie, my senior, who is a lot more knowledgeable about Star Wars than I am. And we'll be talking about all things new and old about Star Wars together with our very special guest today, which are the peeps who runs their own podcast show, Geeks in Malaysia. Nick, Amelia, and Kai. Introduce yourself, guys. Wherever you guys are.
Hello.
Howdy.
Huh? Oh, you want to? Okay. Hi, my name is Amelia Chen.
Hey, Victorian.
Hi, I'm Kyril M. Bahar, and you're watching the Magic Rain Podcast. Tuesdays on CBS.
Okay.
Coming to you on Disney Plus Hotstar.
Oh god. So tell us about Geeks in Malaysia.
Who wants to kick this off?
I'll give the very PR answer, which is we are a pop culture podcast, which we do once a week. Every Thursday, we have a new episode out. But basically, we talk about everything and anything to do with TV shows, movies, video games, comic books, everything under the sun related to pop culture. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. And it's a bit expletive. So
A bit expletive?
Very expletive. So if curse words aren't your thing, then we're sorry, but not sorry.
Okay.
Now I'm curious, what's the non-PR version?
One day, Amelia popped an idea in my head and walked away and left me to figure it out. Because that's what she does. And that idea was... Yep. She just came up and said, we should do a geek podcast with Nick, and then walked away. I'm like, okay.
So that's how it all started.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's when did we start it?
2012. June in 2012.
Oh God.
Oh wow.
You all know how
Jesus
I
Christ.
remember because
Sorry, oh my God.
We started with the Avengers. That was our first episode, the first Avengers film. And Avengers just turned 9 years old, and I was like, hey, that's when we started.
I've actually been reorganizing what do you call it? A bunch of, and trying to reorganize my hard drive. So I've put all the Geeks in Malaysia stuff in one hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I realized, for the first 3 episodes, we shot them all with 3 cameras. Yep. And then at a certain point, I gave up because I was like, this is too much work. But we still have footage. We still have the footage, and I'm like, should I cut this for the? I don't know.
10th anniversary.
You should.
10th anniversary,
Yeah.
Start planning it now.
10th anniversary, and also remember when we used to mix all of our sound in individual channels?
Yes. Yeah. When we started, I was a bit more gung ho about this has to be perfect audio and whatever. And then after 3 episodes, this is too much work. Can you all go into one channel? Nowadays we really don't edit, so everything just goes straight to the camera, which is also recording the audio from the mix in high quality. And then I pop that into the computer, put the titles, and then put the audio on the podcast side and the video on the YouTube side, and we're done. I don't even apply color correction anymore. I've put that on the recorder. So that we don't have to color correct. The recorder has all the colors that are set.
Direct in camera.
Don't have to think about anything.
Yeah. I mean, so we did start the podcast in 2012, but there was a 4 to 5 year hiatus in between. I was not going to shame anybody. Just life just happens. And so, but we're back. So we've been back since when? Since
2018. If I'm not mistaken, 2018.
Yeah.
2019, around there.
Yeah, and we've been going strong ever since then. Guy?
Pretty strong. Yeah.
When we
occasional missing of 1-2 weeks.
Yeah. When we first started, it was 1 episode every month. and now
it's a weekly thing?
Yeah. We've tried to make it a bit more consistent. And on top of that, we've now got our own YouTube channel. So we're putting up our podcast visually as well there, as well as starting a gaming sort of series as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
And look out for more stuff to come.
yeah.
More. Yeah. So
Teaser for the next episode of the gaming videos that we're doing. It's going to be a little-known arcade game called Moonwalker, based on the Michael Jackson movie Moonwalker.
I love that game.
So the point of the game is to beat up bad guys by dancing while saving little
Oh my
children.
Going.
Yeah.
It gets weird.
It
We're-
gets
we're-
weird.
We're trying to find all the weirdest games we can find from back in the day and play them.
Yeah,
It's
like
not that difficult. There were very weird games back in the day.
Yeah.
What's the Groove really challenged us. So like last week's episode, this week's episode,
Yeah,
this
that
week's
was-
episode. It was Bust the Groove.
Early this week's episode, yeah.
Yeah. The dancing one. Jeez.
No idea how to play. Like what is wrong? Like what?
So y'all know each other even before the podcast came to be? Like, how did it all started? Besides Emilia just dumping the idea to Kai.
It all started when Nick came up to me in KLPAC at what was that festival called?
Short and sweet.
Oh my god!
Short and sweet. It was like Killpack Open Day. Was
No,
Urbanscapes.
Urbanscapes.
Yes.
It was one of the early Urbanscapes back when it was free.
Yeah.
And,
There was only one Urbanscapes in Campac.
was there only one? Oh, maybe it was an open day. I can't remember.
No, two.
Yeah, there was two.
Yeah.
So then this dude comes up to me named Nick Dorian and says he wants to take a photo because he really liked my first movie.
Yes. There has to be like
Context.
that I want to take a picture with you because I liked your film, not just like,
Yeah.
hey.
And
Just this
so
weird
few people
stranger.
so few people had, like I knew what the box office numbers were for my first movie. So I was like, I'm not going to say what I actually said, but it's pretty much like, who put you up to this? Because no one asked me for a photo. What are you talking about?
I really liked his film Cheapla. If you want to, you can find it now. It's on
Kinedia.
Kinedia.com. Kinedia.com.
KINIDIA.com.
And I thought that was the last time I was going to
Look.
see him, but then he was. I did think it was the last I was going to see you, but then you were cast in a TV series I was doing, so I was like, I guess this guy's stalking me. Let's be friends. And then met Amelia in the B at a screening.
For also
Was it for Cheapla as well? Yeah, wow, my first movie just
Oh.
connected us all.
yeah. But I mean at different times.
At different times,
Because
yeah.
I was helping because I think WAM, We Were Malaysian made a website community that used to promote local content. Our friend Michael was running this thing, and then he was holding a screening of Chipla at the B at Jaya One, and I really liked the movie. And then I'm like, oh, indie filmmaker.
I also remember like that screening, you had just bought your new phone, a Nokia E72.
Wow.
What so specific?
And you couldn't figure out how to put the SIM card in.
Oh,
I was helping you, and a friendship was born.
yeah, no, yeah. And then I think
Nokia bringing people together.
that's still my favorite phone, by the way. We need to make phones like that with the keypad. Like, why not? But yeah, no. Then I offered to help you out on your next, if you ever needed help for your next movie, and then you ended up doing relationship status, and we've worked together ever since.
Yeah, and my first podcast I ever did was during relationship status, and then because I just wanted to record like how the movie was being made. Then after that, I approached Amelia and said, "You want to do a podcast for WAM? But we'll just talk about local content and plays and stuff like that." So that's where we got got used to the idea of doing a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, because it was, a website that's dedicated to like anything that's Malaysian made, sometimes there'd be like guests or topics that we weren't familiar with, or to be honest, wouldn't really interest us, but it's the content of the site.
Mm-hmm.
So doing a podcast was fun, but
The content.
the content wasn't quite there yet until later on. It depended on the guest.
Yeah.
And at the time, I mean, it was like 2011, 2012. So some of the comments we'd get, like podcasts still weren't common, It wasn't really a known idea, so
Mm.
people would log in expecting to hear news and hear me and Amelia talk about Ninja Turtles. You know what I mean? And be like, what is going on? Why can't you guys stay on topic? Where are your key points? We're like, we don't have key points. Listen
Like,
or
one
don't.
of I think when I came on Webcast, I think that was almost like sort of semi-birth of this show. Would I be wrong to say that?
Yes. What were you on for? I can't remember.
I
You were doing a show as well.
yeah.
You were
But
doing
Oh,
a
you had your own show.
Yeah.
You were
I
interviewing
do
theater
do
people.
backstage live. Yeah. But then we ended up talking about geeky stuff as well. So I think like we just
Yeah.
ended up having a conversation.
There you go.
Yeah.
So like from Malaysia stuff, you guys like indirectly just injected geek stuff into it.
Yep, pretty much. We were
Yeah.
just like, because especially sometimes we get like, get to interview a comic book artist or, you know, and it always happened where even let's say we're interviewing an actor, and then somehow the topic goes into something else, and then we spend 15 minutes talking about, The Matrix. You know,
So much of our media references are all from Western media, so it's a bit hard to keep it local. I mean, you can, but only to a certain extent, right? Like,
there's only so many times you can make a LUT reference or
X-ray.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, let's segue into the topic. So Star Wars. When was the first time you all have watched Star Wars?
Okay, now we're gonna show our ages, aren't we?
Okay, it's not really. It's more like in childhood time or like when you were in your teens.
It was in the 80s, definitely in the 80s when I was like under 6 years old, because for some reason in that period in England, during Christmas and Boxing Day and all that, you were almost guaranteed a Star Wars movie, an Indiana Jones movie, and The Italian Job, like every year without fail. So yeah, it's weird because I never saw the first Star Wars first. You know, I saw like parts of Empire Strike Back, which I remembered, but I remember also thinking this is really dark. Return of the Jedi when I was a kid was my favorite. I thought the Ewoks were cool. By the time I watched The New Hope, I was like, wow, this looks crap. Because, it was the early effect, and George Lucas hadn't fixed everything yet, so it's still the rotating lightsaber. So, yeah, I prefer Return of the Jedi. But yeah, I remember Star Wars was, as a child, a big deal because that was when the birth of toy culture happened. I remember always trying to find a Luke Skywalker. I could never get one. And my dad always bought me bad guys. So my dad got me when I was a kid. I had a TIE fighter. I had a land speeder, 2 stormtroopers, Darth Vader, and the only people to fight them was Lando Calrissian and C-3PO and one Ewok. And it wasn't even the cool Lando Calrissian. It's Lando from Return of the Jedi, where he's dressed up in Jabba the Hutt's place to not be Lando. So it's like, this is a crap game. But yeah, like Star Wars and the whole thing of toys from movies and merchandising. Like I got to experience that very early on. I dressed up as Darth Vader for Halloween when I was 5. When I was living in England. And on a bridge, I bumped into Luke Skywalker, so we had a fight.
Oh. Was it an adult or a kid Luke Skywalker?
Luke Skywalker.
What?
But it's the second, you're standing there and there's this dude dressed like Luke and you're dressed as Darth Vader and you kind of like, I'm getting through this bridge. So
it had to be a bridge.
Yeah. You shall not have situation.
This was olden times when, you had a wooden playground structure and the only thing to protect you was wood chips on the ground. So long story short, Luke Skywalker beat me and I fell on the wood chips.
Oh.
Following canon, I guess.
I remember watching Star Wars like when I was again a kid. My cousin took me to this was a 20th anniversary when they re-released it in cinemas here. And I remember TGV One Utama Old Wing when it used to be like this big thing. You go up staircases. And we sat through a marathon of it with like 30-minute breaks in between. And I was like, what? 7, 8 years old at that time?
What?
And I sat through all 3 films.
That's Core.
Because I don't know, maybe it.
That timeline doesn't sound right, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to look back at the time, the 20th anniversary, how old I was at the time. When did Star Wars come out?
Like in Malaysia?
What, the first one?
Yeah,
First one,
1977.
Yeah.
77, 87, 97, 97. Yeah, so I would have been about 10 years
Yeah.
old. Yeah,
20th anniversary was late 90s because I was in Level College by then.
yeah. So that was my first taste of Star Wars, and I remember after that, that was it for me. Once I saw New Hope, Empire bored me a little bit. I remembered, and then Return of the Jedi, I was like, "Hey, Ewoks." Yeah.
Yeah, as a kid, Empire is a tough watch compared to the other two.
When you're an adult, Empire
Oh,
is
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's good story writing.
Hmm.
I
But,
but finish your butt.
but
Finish your butt.
Finish your butt.
there's no buts, no more buts.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I can't actually clearly remember when I first watched Star Wars. I do believe it was probably something on TV2 on RTM2.
Hmm.
At some point, I do remember getting the golden box set VHS, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Like the updated original trilogy at some point. But I think distinctly what I remember as a child is watching the Ewoks cartoon.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think because I think my dad was, maybe it's because there wasn't as much like Star Wars media aside from the cartoons on TV, but my dad was watching a lot of Star Trek, so because Star Trek was so much, right? So yeah, but I'm pretty sure my dad introduced me to Star Wars at some point. Probably the second movie as well. So yeah.
Wow. You guys' experience with Star Wars is completely different from ours, I think.
Yeah.
What is your guys'
Yeah,
experience?
what's yours?
How did you guys get introduced into Star Wars?
For me, well, my dad was a huge Star Wars fan growing up, so he made my sister and I it was mandatory viewing.
Nice.
But it wasn't until pretty late on that he managed to force the two of us to sit down and watch it. And I think it was right before episode 7 came out, and he was like, "There's no way you guys are gonna watch episode 7 without watching the first 6. So sit down. We're gonna do this in one day."
Oh my god.
Pretty hardcore. We didn't end up doing it in one day, but because of the length of the movies. But we really, a couple of days finished it all.
For me, I'm technically kind of new. I know about Star Wars from actually the new trilogy, the one that entered cinema in 2015.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then recently I'm actually working part-time in a lightsaber company. So from there,
A lightsaber company?
Which one?
Just told you that I broke a lightsaber, so
Hi.
what's up?
My lightsaber was broken. Hi.
so from there all my colleagues were super into Star Wars, and they kind of got me to know a few stuff, and started watching a few of the original trilogy, some of the prequels, and that's why I got interested into it. That's basically it for me and Star Wars. Yeah.
I'm curious because the generation gap is so huge. I literally talked about watching the movie in the 80s on a square TV,
And VHS.
this big. But I'm curious because obviously for our generation, the feeling's a bit different. But what do you guys think of episode 1, 2, and 3?
So episode episode
Hayden
1, 2, and 3, the
Christensen.
prequel.
The ones with Hayden Christensen and Jar Jar
Natalie
Binks.
Portman. Yeah.
No!
Okay, Natalie, you go first. Because I feel like you're going to piss a lot of people off.
Okay, episode 1 doesn't exist in my brain.
Oh,
I
Liam Neeson.
completely erased it because that's where Jar Jar Binks appears, and every scene he's in is just a blank space. It's just a blank space.
You sound no like Darth Maul?
Darth Maul appears for a whole of 10 minutes.
I mean, that.
He does.
So when Darth Maul's badass fight sequence with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan, though, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with the
the
double
pod race.
lightsaber when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. Who doesn't want one? And the pod racing? No one likes pod racing.
See, okay, this also shows age, but I don't know whether Kai Amelia, in the arcades, do you remember there used to be a pod racing like
Yes.
arcade machine
Yes.
where you put your hands out, you like, have to control the
Yes.
pod.
Never.
Love
No,
that.
that's
That was awesome.
that's not showing age, buddy. I used to put 50p coins into the OG Star Wars video game, which was 3D in the 80s. And by 3D, it was lines. Like
Oh my
polygons,
god, I think I know this, yes.
non-filled polygons, and it's one color. And the whole game is just attacking the Death Star. You know? With blocks coming at you. And yes, I spent a lot of money and I never blew up the Death Star. But yeah, Jury, what about you? Like episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. For me, 1 and 2 were like a bit but 3 was nice. I really enjoyed 3. Especially the fight between Obi-Wan and also Anakin.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had the high ground.
Yes. It's always that one. And also like when the sequence of Order 66, I was like, damn, that's like, to me that's like the epic moment that it's not like a one-on-one duel. Like when all the Jedis were like massacred one by one, it's like, oh damn. Like if you think of it in a full scale, it's kind of like scary in a sense. Yeah.
True, but if you think about it another way, those Jedis were crap.
What?
When they called Order 66, they're literally guys who are just standing there with a lightsaber and he turns around, huh? And he's dead.
I mean, you got.
He was not one with the Force.
I mean,
no,
that
one
too.
was the Force. No one was listening to the Force. Like, hey, something's going. What? Why are you pointing a gun at?
I mean, maybe it's just a betrayal. Like you trust your comrades, and it's like, wait, you turned on me. How could this happen? I thought we were all in the light side. Yeah.
I mean, they all took a long time to realize that. By that time, they were dead.
The question that I do have is like, okay, when you first started watching Star Wars, did you all start with 1, 2, and 3 and then move to 4, 5, 6?
Good question.
Or did you go 4, 5, 6 and then 1, 2, 3?
Or maybe in Julie's case, like 7, 8,
7, 8, 9, yeah.
and then 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3.
Actually, yeah, I'm curious about that with Nat because, like you said, your dad introduced you to the movie. So I wonder which one you made you watch first.
Yeah.
So he did make us watch it from 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Which I know it's a controversial opinion.
No, I mean, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
My sister and I were definitely confused because you go to episode 4 and you're like, what movie is this?
Why are you so old? Why are you older than one? Why is this? Why
the creatures?
Especially with the screen wipes, the weird PowerPoint like screen wipes.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Slides.
True.
I think it definitely made a lot more sense for the story, I guess. But other than that, it was.
For me, since I started from 7, 8, 9, it's more towards the graphic end, like because like how 4, 5, 6 is very different from like 1, 2, 3 and like 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So
I really like 4, 5, 6, even though it's weird graphics and all. It feels weirdly nostalgic.
4, 5, 6 is the OG Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you watch
Sorry? I'll go first. So because like you guys have the nostalgia factor. I'm running on pure. Oh, this is so interesting. So a lot of people say this is good. Then I was like, Sarah, what is this?
Are you upset? Then she will stuff like then she like you won't get the nostalgia hit when Ray goes the Jungle Zoo and everyone goes Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. All those is like, oh, it's just on. Yeah, I know that's like the spaceship and it's neat. Yeah.
I think especially for, again, showing our age, the younger generation, they have that option of doing like 1, 2, and 3 or 7, 8, 9. But we always had to start with 4, 5, and 6. We didn't have a 1, 2, and 3.
We just start off with.
Yeah. So that always will remain very nostalgic and a classic to us because that's where it all started. Yeah.
There's such a thing as vicarious nostalgia. But
oh yes,
I definitely felt that when my dad introduced me to Star Wars. The way he described like watching the movies, waiting for them to come out, the quality of special effects, at the time. Just
or George Lucas
feels special to watch it.
I am.
I mean, to me, like a lot of those special effects, some of the special effects at 4, 5, 6 to me hold up more than some of the effects in 1, 2, 3.
Mm.
Because
Feels more real.
rewatching 1, 2, 3, like in 1, you can really see like Jar Jar Binks is separate from everything else. He's just this floating thing that's there. Whenever Liam Neeson's looking at him, he's looking at like his ear, or no one can actually look at Jar Jar Binks properly. And then the green screen in 2 and 3 over time starts getting worse and worse.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen 1, 2, or 3 in the longest time. The only thing I see about 1, 2, and 3 most recently is sorry, I really love this YouTube show, this channel called Cinema Therapy.
Oh yeah. They did the whole breaking about the
Anakin.
Anakin and personality disorder.
Yeah, borderline personality disorder. So
Yeah.
So that's the only because I absolutely because I hate it too.
Sorry.
I hate too because of the Bollywood scenes. I hate the Bollywood scenes. You know, the tumbling in the grass. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, no.
No, but 2 has Yoda with a lightsaber fighting Christopher Lee. That is
Yeah. We can't forget that. But I think this episode, the original trilogy and 1, 2, and 3 is proof of like practical effects still work. Because 4, 5, and 6, it feels real. It feels like it's possible. But 1, 2, and 3, you have that sort of disconnect because of all the CGI that are being used. You know, these are all CGI sets. Whereas back in the day, it's all models. It feels so real.
Here's the thing that I realized with 1, 2, and 3 is when we were watching it at that time on DVD, it looked fine. Now that we have, I've got a 50-inch 4K TV now, and it's tough. Sometimes it's just like, oh, what is that?
that looks way too fake.
Yeah. Or sometimes like too sharp and too clean. And like the Bollywood scene with the creatures they're on, it's just like, no, this does not look real.
7, 8, 9 at least was, I think, a good mix balance between practical and special and visual, right? So that's why it I guess it has more gravitas than 1, 2, and 3.
Well, from 9.
Yeah, I would like to go like from watching 1, 2, and 3 into 4, 5, and 6. Like, what was your perception of Darth Vader before Episode 4? Like, if you only watched 1, 2, and 3, started with 1, 2, and 3, seeing Hayden Christensen as Anakin, what was your perception of Darth Vader? Because for people that watched 4, 5, and 6, Darth Vader was this, this huge sort of like weight of James Earl Jones's dark gravitas voice, and then
we watch 1, 2, 3. It's like
I don't like
Thanks to emo boy.
So that's what I would like to know for people that hadn't had a clue of Darth Vader before 4, 5, and 6. What did you think of him?
I think Julia said it well. Emo boy, right?
Yeah.
Angsty emo boy.
Angsty emo boy, yeah.
Does that take away when you watch 4, 5, and 6 after 1, 2, and 3? Because knowing that he's an emo boy, does it take away from how scary he is? Or
it does, kind of.
Really?
Because when I look at him, I just think back to 1, 2, and 3, and like,
That's a sad point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Darth Vader is one of the greatest villains of all time, especially in the sci-fi universe, and to be like broken down. No.
I think, you know which line that I've always hated from Hayden?
Oh my god!
Because they kept playing it on like hits when they were doing radio ads for the movie when it was coming out. I think it's episode 2, and it's without context. Like if you see the scene, it makes sense, but when you just have the audio, it's the bit where after he's killed all the Tauntauns that killed his mom, and he goes back to
not Tauntauns, the
Sand people. Yeah, and he's broken down and crying. But when you just have the audio, so you'd be advertising Attack of the Clones, and you'd hear, "I'm gonna be the greatest Jedi that ever lived." You're like, no, that guy becomes Darth Vader.
No.
That is the no moment.
I remember that no moment when I first saw it. I literally was like, really?
You were in the cinema going, no!
Okay. Again, okay, moving on. Actually, would you say that you're a part of the Star Wars fandom? Like, how deep are you?
I think just to add on to that a bit, right?
Yeah.
I think a part of the reason why we see Anakin as this super emo, edgy boy, I think it's just how fandoms categorize its characters these days. Like, a lot of people like villains. They like villains because they're emo, they're angsty, they wear a lot of black. So every time they see a villain today, I confirm this for you. Anytime you talk to like a young person and you tell them about a villain, they'll be like, yeah, my emo, angsty boy.
I blame Twilight.
Genuinely.
They all want their bad guys to be My Chemical Romance?
They all
Sort
want
of.
their bad boys to be Edward Cullen. That's what they want.
No. Can we not bring Twilight to this, please? Can we not draw a line between Twilight and begging anything Skywalker? Please no.
Edward Cullen isn't emo. He's just a
Yes,
He
dick.
is kind of emo.
He's just constipated.
according to some therapies, he like toxic abusive boyfriend.
Yeah, very toxic.
Very
Yeah.
toxic. Yeah.
He's gonna become Batman.
Agree.
So there you go.
I'm looking forward to Batman though.
Again, can we
That's
separate
true.
the actor from the character? I don't think you know what I
No,
mean. Like,
Twilight is Batman because he's a vampire and now he's a bat.
It makes sense.
it's an evolution. It's an evolutionary choice.
Yeah, so like there's the fandom now, which Julia and I are in, but how is it like for the fandom for you guys? What is it like being in the fandom?
I mean, okay, me personally, I go as far as the movies. If you're talking about the TV series, the most I watched was The Mandalorian, which is still fantastic to this day. Thank you, Jon Favreau. But like, if you want to go deep down into lore of like the books and all that, that's Amelia's territory.
Yeah. So during when I was a young adult, they released a series of books at one point when I was a teenager called Young Jedi Academy, which basically so I read some of the books, which is now in the expanded universe, which is now in Star Wars Legends. Thank you, Kathleen. Whoever was it, Kathleen Kennedy?
I think so.
Thank you, Disney. After you bought like the Star Wars franchise, and then you totally just shunted an entire fandom and like threw everything out of canon. Thank you for that.
Don't forget to subscribe to Disney Plus Hotstar. It's coming to Malaysia in June.
Yeah.
Disney, not sponsored.
Yeah, so I read some of the books. I was just talking about this with a friend. Which I started with Young Jedi Academy, which basically deals with like kind of like the next generation, like the children of Han, and Han and Leia's children. Even later on, like even Luke's child with a character called Mara Jade, who is not written in the expanded universe, but her character arc was amazing because she was like the hand of the Emperor, and then she killed one of the Emperor clones and stuff like that to be with Luke, and then like the redemption arc is amazing. Oh my god! But then now it's not canon. Oh my god. Yeah. So I felt. Don't say. So Young Jedi Academy. So and I read books adjacent to that as well about Luke setting up the Young Jedi Academy, and then later on I moved on to the later books, which is the current run, or at least the precursor to the current run, which is New Jedi Order, when all these characters have grown up and become adults, get married, and then discover new things, and then their entire galaxy is threatened by an alien from outside the system, so it's not within the Force itself. So imagine Jedi is trying to fight things that they cannot sense in the Force. Oh, then it went.
I was gonna say like that's a nice setting up for a new era. Yeah.
Then it went off the deep end. Which of course people turn to the dark side, blah 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 blah. And I also played some of the games. I think a favorite game with a lot of Star Wars fans is Knight of the Old Republic. Or KOTOR. So I played KOTOR 1 and 2. I tried to play some of the other ones, but I haven't finished them. But yeah, because it's... Yeah, so if anyone wants to play the games, I think any Star Wars fan would say KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 would be a great starting point if you like story-rich characters, and you can have choice, and you can, force lightning kill people.
I think one of the lesser known games, which is also quite awesome, is X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. It's
Yes.
it's on Steam. I got it again. It's amazing. And you've got both X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, or you can get X-Wing, or you can get TIE Fighter. There's 3 games in total.
Oh, and just to also see how deep my love for the fandom is, also one of my favorite rides at Disneyland is Star Tours, which is the Star Wars ride. I mean, the old Star Wars ride before they had the current ones.
Wait, which ride was it? Because like the only ride I went and when I went Disneyland Paris was the roller coaster one, and
No, there
I
was
think the shooting one. Yeah.
Star Tours was in Disneyland,
OG.
Euro Disney as well, because I went to the Star Tours, and so you noticed it was there. So maybe they'd taken it out already by the time you went. So because that was basically you're literally going on a tour,
And then your shuttle gets hijacked.
Yeah, shit goes down. But if you go to Euro Disney, the droids speak in French, but everyone on the screen speaks in English. So it's very interesting because you just have like I think it's an R2, no, a C, like a
C-3PO.
C3PO type unit. It wasn't C3PO though; it was someone else.
Oh yeah, it's the blue and I don't know how to describe him.
C3PE or something. I don't know, some French robot. And, you know, it's like l'impérial, and you know, there's someone on the screen like, I totally understand what you're saying. We're gonna come in and help you. Like, how do you understand? What's going on?
Was it Hyperspace Mountain?
I think that was what the roller coaster.
At one point, they overlaid Space Mountain with Hyperspace Mountain, which is the Star Wars roller coaster.
Yes.
The Star Wars logo on Space Mountain.
No, so basically, like the shuttle is like it's like a series of X-wings, and like I swear I cried a bit. When I went on the ride, I'm like, yes, I'm defending the universe in an X-wing. Yeah.
But now you can defend the universe in a fucking shit. Millennium Fuck. You see what I had to say about being confused?
Oh, he held on for about what, 28 minutes? Like, I'm the guy with the potty mouth, and that you are the one that jumped the gun.
An F-bomb.
Okay.
Oh, you should. I have to be so conscious not to say it.
Yeah. But now we can defend the universe in a Carillion smuggling ship.
Yeah. Which out of the three of us, you are the only one that's been to Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please bring your passport. If you ever want to get a drink in the cantina, you need to bring your passport.
Again, how was the blue milk?
The blue milk. Yes, we should publish that recipe that I came up with.
Does it taste like F&N Anggur?
No, it does not taste like F&N Anggur. It tastes like lassi.
Oh.
It's like a sourish yogurt thing. Yeah. Yogurt. It's like yogurty. You would think it would taste like blueberries, but it doesn't. Yes.
I don't know why my mind was immediately milk with blue food coloring.
Yeah. That's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
But no, they made it slightly different.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, going back into Star Wars movies. Okay, let's start with like the biggest debate. What's your favorite episode and why?
Oh. I thought the biggest debate is who shot first.
That is actually a super tough question. Damn.
Like, you can only choose one.
Oh wow.
Favorite.
Okay,
Fun.
I think it would still be A New Hope. I think because that holds something very nostalgic because that was the first one that I was introduced to, and still, I mean, oh my god, Obi-Wan. Oh my god, I know his name. Oh my god, the actor's name. Who played Obi-Wan again?
Michael Jackson.
No, Ewan McGregor.
No, the OG.
The
Alec Guinness.
Wait,
Guinness. Thank you. Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan always has very special place in my heart because I mean it's Alec Guinness at the end of the day, and it being introduced to this lore at such a young age of Luke, Han, and Leia, and seeing Darth Vader for the first time, C-3PO and R2-D2 and the Jawas. Yeah, I think I will always choose A New Hope. Yeah,
mainly because of
The
Okay, sorry.
film,
Okay.
Oh, sorry. The filmmaker in me wants to say Empire because as a film, like that movie stands up. You know, just purely on story. You could take a lot of the fight sequences out, and it's still a powerful story. Child in me wants to say Return of the Jedi, which is actually not a great story, all things considered. But yeah, the child in me wants to say Return of the Jedi, but no, I would say A New Hope. Because if I had to pick one to rewatch, yeah, it would be The New Hope. But specifically, because I wouldn't want to watch the original cut because the effects are really janky. But I also don't like the super updated version where there's so many random CGI creatures on Tatooine that aren't necessary at all. It's a desert. It's fine. We don't need creatures combing the desert with the stormtroopers. There was one version in between where they hadn't done that much, but they'd at least colored the lightsabers and made the explosions better, and the TIE fighter scene was better. That specific version, because
was that the 20th anniversary one?
It's probably the one I have in VHS.
Yeah,
the updated one in the
VHS Laserdisc one.
Yeah,
the last Laserdisc one. Because I was so looking forward to the 20th anniversary one because I remember the cinema ad. The cinema ad made me cry because it starts off like you're sitting in a cinema, it's a widescreen, and there's just a TV in the middle with Star Wars playing, TV sound, and a video like, for years, an entire generation has only watched Star Wars like this until now, and the X-wing flies out of TV to full screen. You're like, no, I'm gonna see Star Wars for reals. And then I saw it, and I'm like, why is Jabba the Hutt having a conversation with Han Solo? And why is Han Solo walking over his tail in the most awkward CGI?
It's almost like took the mouse and went.
Yeah, Jabba the Hutt looks like he's rendered on an Xbox, and it's just it's terrible. So yeah, I would prefer like the slightly before the 20th anniversary cut because I think that one's the one that works the best.
Like remember the time when Jabba the Hutt was an actual human in a furry?
Yeah, it was just some fat dude.
Yeah.
Looking like he was in like medieval, like he could just walk out the set of Robin Hood.
Yeah,
the furry thing, he had the golden chancellor thing around his chest. I'm like, what is this?
Looked like Friar Tuck. It was weird. But yeah, all the things he changed in that was so unnecessary. Like it was fine the way it is. You just need to color the lightsabers because all the lightsabers were white.
Mm-hmm.
The original cut.
This is what happens when people have budgets.
Yeah.
Sometimes budgets does not help a movie. Like sometimes with constraints, then only you get most creative stuff coming out. So yeah, like now that he had all this access to all this technology, and then he just uses it in just like excess for no reason.
Mm-hmm. But which one's your favorite, Meals?
Yeah, I was looking it up because I was like, wait, which one is which? I'm like, much I'm not a Star Wars fan. I swear I am, guys. I swear I am. I think it has to be Empire Strikes Back because I think I like a lot of the set pieces because it goes to a lot of places. So it's a real like escapism. Like it goes to like Bespin, Cloud City. You go see Lando. You Dagobah, like Hoth. You get all these. Yeah, and this is also where all the love story is in lah. You know what I mean? The encased in carbonite, the unscripted. I know.
Although Han Solo is a pretty aggressive flirt.
What?
Well, Han Solo is a bit of an aggressive flirt.
Harrison
Ford, yeah.
And then Luke being buried in a tauntaun, like in the belly of a tauntaun.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. I did think Mark Hamill was really cute when I was younger.
I think a lot of girls thought Mark Hamill was really cute. That's how a lot of girls think Sebastian Stan is cute now, because they're about the same.
I don't get that. I don't see how they look the same.
Really?
Yeah, they look like completely different people to me.
You just gotta see fan edits of Luke Skywalker and Sebastian Stan.
Yeah,
there it is. I see it.
Yeah.
It's hard to see it when he's doing the Winter Soldier stare.
Like the
Okay, maybe that's why.
Yeah. So my favorite is Empire Strikes Back.
So, like continuing from that, so how do you feel about the new trilogy compared to the original 6?
What about you guys?
Yeah.
What is your favorite
Okay.
Star Wars?
I think my favorite has to be episode 6.
Hmm.
I'm just a sucker for a happy ending. And just like the triumphant like ending of the battle and the party, and it's just it gets me every time.
Meanwhile, I'm the opposite. I like sad endings, and that's why my favorite is episode 3.
Wow.
Wow.
Come
Good
on.
choice. That is
Everybody's sad.
Respect that. Respect
Credits.
It's like
That. Doom is on the
everything.
horizon.
Yeah. And like Padme's gone, and the kid's like super sad and like no.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought they could have saved Padme.
No, they
You
have to
say-
kill her because she doesn't exist in the original trilogy.
True though.
That's the only reason why she dies.
Oh,
Ayo! Poor thing.
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
But the question was 7, 8, 9, right?
Mm-hmm. 7, 8, 9 versus 1 to 6.
Like,
I
what do
think
you
we
mean?
all have differing views on this because I like 7, and contrary to what a lot of Star Wars fans think, especially with those from my generation, I actually really like 8.
8 is not too bad. 8 was a lot of fun, actually. I really
I
enjoyed it.
really, really like 8, and that's
Yeah.
why I really, really don't like 9. Like
Mhm.
9 is the only Star Wars movie I don't own.
What?
Yeah. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and
Oh.
it stops dead. Because I'm like, I can't bring myself to watch it. I'm gonna watch it again one day to see if
One
my
day.
perception will change. But like 9 just felt like, oh, you see all that stuff that he did to try and be different? We're getting rid of all of it. I was
Yeah.
like, what? And you see all these new characters we introduced, people of color and different gender. We're not gonna use them.
They're just going to be side characters in the corner.
And guess what? Palpatine's alive. How? Who cares? Who's building all these destroyers? People.
There is an explanation for why Palpatine is alive
Yes,
in
but it's
all
not in
of
the
the
movie.
legend books that they've all come up with, but they don't use it.
It's
Yeah,
not
but
in the movie. We're just supposed to believe that Palpatine was hiding in a cloud, literally hiding in a cloud
And had a family.
with a family and a factory, apparently, to just chunk out a whole bunch of destroyers. And he was just biding his time. Like, no, and no. You
I
know?
always found it a bit strange that they brought back Palpatine already because they were setting up Snoke. So, like,
But that's the thing. It just felt like, oh, people hated 8 so much. We must give them more of the nostalgia that they love. They need member berries.
oh my god, Member Berries!
What?
What's my memories?
South Park.
Hi.
Oh.
Ah, okay.
Did it rain?
No.
Come on.
No.
No, it's raining here.
No.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. So it's coming up.
We're answering no as if we're in the same location.
we're in the internet.
I like the what do you call it? I liked how 7 was kind of a rehash, but it was still kind of new.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
8 was a very bold take.
Just Ryan just went on a.
And I
Yeah.
thought it was genius. I thought, like that is the way to make Star Wars continue. Right? Just try different shit and go with a different storyline. But then it just got turned back, and I was like, okay, fine. I guess no one else liked the idea. And everyone seemed to hate porgs, and I love porgs. There are not enough porg toys, and there's no Bebo doll from Legends of Tomorrow, which pisses me off even more. I want a
Is there not a
Bebo.
Bebo doll?
What?
Oh, there's no official Bebo doll, and there's no. To find a big porg is so tough.
Yeah, I
Find a
couldn't.
big porg.
I couldn't find a big pork for him when I was in Disneyland
Yeah.
or the Galaxy's Edge. But I don't think he would have wanted one of these. So
It might have.
People
but it's
hated
okay.
porgs. They're so cute.
One
But
and
you
they were-
hate just cute things.
right? They were cute and they were functional because that island had a lot of birds that were native to it. You
Kittens.
can't get rid of them. CGI over them with porgs. Works.
yeah,
Like, Porgs was this generation's Ewoks, essentially.
Yeah.
oh, but they're just not as not as monetizable because you
Yeah.
can't make a cartoon out of porgs.
Yeah.
Well, you could. It could be like Minions, I guess.
No, but you could make a cartoon out of like the caretakers of the island.
Oh my god, yes, the caretakers!
Yeah.
I love them!
Those
I
Yeah.
love
characters were
the
cool too.
caretakers.
And I
Yeah.
love Grumpy Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Stalking around and then like getting the milk, the green milk from the
With a very dirty look as he's drinking that milk. It was just,
yeah, like the very like knowing.
He looked like a different kind of thirsty.
But the new trilogy compared to the old, again, for me, it's always very difficult because I may be a purist in that sense that nothing will ever top the the old trilogy. Like 4, 5, and 6 have a very special place. 1, 2, and 3 is questionable. I can't remember much of 2. 1, yes, 2 is completely gone in my mind except for the Yoda and Christopher Lee scene. 3, you have the high ground, but the new trilogy, I feel episode 7, like you said, was a good sort of segue from the old to the new. Episode 8 was brilliant. Episode 9, I had the nostalgia glasses on when we first saw it. And then after those glasses got taken off, I was like, this is actually a pretty shit film. Because especially that sequence when Leia is like, I died, but I am in space. And I will fly.
That was 8.
That was 8.
No.
That was
Yeah,
8.
that was
Wait,
eight.
that was 8. That was 8.
Okay, that was a
She
bit
died
weird.
in 9.
Yeah, so she had passed
Yeah.
away already.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
using other footage for
Yeah.
9.
Yeah. But yeah, the new trilogy we could have done without 9. I kind of wished that I could have seen Ryan do 9. I would have liked to see what Ryan would have done.
The
with
original one, David Troll is or whatever.
9.
Yeah. The old I mean, if you have seen, there is leaked script
Yeah.
of the one that the original director would have done. I would have liked to see that one because that one was actually it honored all of the stuff that they were trying to set up with the new trilogy, which I thought was amazing.
And I'm sorry, but the Ben and Ray kiss, I'm like, I still say I cannot defend that. I'm like, no.
I mean, yeah.
You gotta satisfy the ships.
Yeah, I gotta satisfy the ships. Fan service is
Fan service.
apparently all they care about because I mean 9 was basically a gigantic, huge fan service and a gigantic disservice to I think to the whole like thing about Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, I like yeah. So I like episode 7. I like episode 8. I like yeah. Then episode 9 was just a total like betrayal of everything these two things have set up, and you go like, I would like to honor the movies, please, and you're giving us all these things. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I have, guys.
And also, not forgetting, there were also 2 other films that still were equally as good. Rogue One was, I
Oh.
freaking love Rogue One. That's fantastic. Solo's okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It
It's
wasn't
okay.
bad. It wasn't great. It was okay.
But Rogue One.
Yeah,
Rogue One was
That
dope.
was nice.
I really like Rogue One.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that ¿Qué pasa? What's his name?
Gabriel.
No, it's not
No.
Gael. It's not.
Not
I'm talking
Gael,
about the actor.
Yeah, I know. He's not Gael Garcia Bernal. Gael Garcia Bernal is also.
It's his friend.
It's his friend.
He is Diego Luna.
There we go.
Ay, cabrón.
Hey, cabron.
Yeah, he's getting his own show.
Yep.
Oh my god, yeah, I can't wait for that.
Someone needs to cross it over with Narcos. So
Oh my gosh.
make a supercut like before he joined the rebellion, he deal with the cocaine.
No.
Then he found
Oh
the
my God.
rebellion.
We can team up with Pedro Pascal.
There you go.
Yes, oh my god, yes.
Like tiba-tiba the
Before he was
Mandalorian.
the Mandalorian, he was with the FBI. trying to take down the cartel.
Which is why he has all the moves as the Mandalorian.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our take on
I
old.
totally I almost forgot about the side movies. Yeah, you're right. There's Rogue One and there's Solo.
Yeah. And don't forget Donnie Yen in Rogue One as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Donnie Yen,
Oh,
Rogue
the fastest way.
No, my favorite Donnie Yen line is when they blindfold him. He's like, "Are you serious? I'm blind."
True.
I thought it was genius.
Yeah, I won with the Force. Oh my god, that was amazing. I love it. That final sequence.
Watch that again.
Hmm?
I should
Huh?
watch. I should watch Rogue One again.
Oh yeah, holds up. Totally holds up. I do wonder what's happening to that director though.
What director Rogue One?
Gareth Edwards, same guy that did the first Godzilla and Monsters, not Monster.
Gareth Edwards. Like, I feel like he had a movie that came out recently.
Did he? Because I remember, like, Godzilla came out and they were like, it didn't do as well as we wanted it to. It's like, dude, come on. A couple of $100 million is not as good as you wanted to.
The first Godzilla?
Yeah.
The one that everyone hates?
I loved it. I like Fat Godzilla. I like Kawaii Godzilla.
This is
So
sad.
charming.
His
What, he's
last no, God, he's not dead.
Okay.
His last film as a director was Rogue One.
Shit. He's a good director. He's
He
a
had a-
really good director.
He had a cameo in The Last Jedi as a Resistance trench soldier.
That's...
It's just-
Yeah, I don't know why they want to give him another movie. He's obviously talented.
Was it Godzilla that made? I don't know, but
Godzilla
Godzilla.
didn't fail. It just
Okay.
didn't make as much as Transformers 4. Or 3. I can't remember which one. I think it was the Marky Mark Transformers.
Money dictates everything.
Yes, it does actually.
Well, I'm sensing a lot of love for all of this. I don't know what would you call it, extended cinematic
Extended universe?
universe.
I guess.
yeah.
I mean, look, like if it's got Star Wars characters, we're probably going to be interested at some point. Because, like, for me, it's weird because I think for a lot of people around my generation, the fandom for Star Wars is kind of like it's just permeated in like culture, you know. Like one of the things that like if you ever watch any Kevin Smith film, right? And you just got guys talking about Star Wars. Like that is literally from my generation of just sitting there going, "What is Yoda poo?" You know, because there wasn't enough there wasn't enough answers to these questions, so you just find yourself sitting there going like, "Wait, we made out with his sister in the first one, didn't we?"
Mm-hmm.
He did.
His twin sister.
You know,
Contractors
Like-
on the Death Star.
contractors on the Death Star, like just weird questions like that. You know, Star Wars just permeated in it. The same way,
I
like
mean, even like for Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, the logo is
Yeah.
reminiscent of Empire
Strikes Back, Empire Strikes Back. You know, it was like the way I remember, like the way they described it back then was that it was a happening because movies weren't like that before that. You know, before Star Wars, movies traveled. You know, you release The Godfather in this state and you let it play for like 3 months, and then you go to another state. And Star Wars was just like it was re-released 2 years after it came out because that's why so many people wanted to watch it, and no one had VHS player back then. So
Like,
yeah,
when it first came out, it was expected to be like a bomb because nobody believed the film. A space opera is like, what is this? And then opening day, it just blew everyone's minds.
Like Kenner.
it was
the
thought
reason-
of as such a bomb that the studio said, "Hey, yeah, like Lucas could say, like, I want the rights for the toys. Sure, take them. Who makes toys for movies?" And then the movie comes out, and the studio's like, "Hey, so can get a cut?" Like, nope, and not mine.
Mine.
Mark Hamill is every single toy ever made.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Mark Hamill.
I actually remember the Christmas where
The
the
Christmas
toys were
special
so
that we
sold
should
out. No. The toys were so sold out that they sold a box, an empty box.
Oh, the tickets. Yeah.
Yes.
The raffle.
It was
Yeah.
an empty box that basically meant that you had already paid for these figures that were going to come out.
Oh, what is that?
Julia, I think you're a fan.
Okay, sorry. Let me just push the fan away.
It's okay. It's gone now. But yeah, like you could literally it's basically like booking the toys for when they come out.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was Christmas, you needed to sell something on Christmas, and all the toys were sold out. So you'd get a kid an empty box Which of course my dad wouldn't buy because
Notification.
my dad wouldn't buy because he's like, I'm not paying this much for toys you're not getting. And I don't know when, like, how many months after you bought the box you'd get the toys, but yeah, I do remember that thing in stores, just going like, why didn't they fill the box yet? I didn't understand what was going on.
See, okay, now that we're talking about like Christmas, this is one question I want to ask the two of you.
No.
Oh, are you all aware of the Star Wars Holiday Special?
I've heard about it, and that's it.
Have you seen any part of the Star Wars Holiday Special?
All I know was a graphic I saw on your page, which is like the Star Wars hand, the Lego hand and the ribbon.
Oh no!
Oh, wait, that's not- that's not?
Oh, okay. That's the
Oh,
Lego
okay,
Holiday
okay.
Special.
Okay.
That is- If you do not know, there is a piece of Star Wars lore which George Lucas himself has tried to bury for over 40 years.
A lot of people have tried to
So much so, he has burned all the original tapes of this Star Wars Holiday Special in 77. The premise
my God.
is Chewbacca is going back to his home planet for Life Day, which is their Christmas. And it's a bunch of Chewbacca's family, and it's the
the
whole
Cosby Show.
yeah, and it's like
Cosby Show.
With subtitles.
no subtitles, just that's it. And then you've got a weird song and dance sequence with Dionne Warwick or someone.
Yeah, because
Psychedelics.
Chewie's dad puts on a VR headset and watches Dionne Warwick sing something.
VR headset? What? Okay.
Yeah, something very sensual. The
Okay.
song is kind of sexy, and then like he's reacting like he's like hooked up to VR porn. It's weird.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like little side cartoons where they introduce Boba Fett in cartoons.
Yes.
Boba Fett was introduced in cartoon form before
Yeah.
anything else. And the cartoons were kind of cool.
Mm.
I'll give him the cartoons.
To Star Wars
Yeah.
cartoons, right?
But then it keeps coming back to the studio audience where Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford look like they've been forced at gunpoint to do this show.
Yes.
That or they look like they're a bit
Oh, they look stoned as hell. They look stoned.
Harrison Ford to this day has no recollection of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
What were they on?
But
they
to be
have to
fair,
sing.
Harrison Ford, whenever you talk to him about Star Wars, his answers like shock me every time.
When you talk to Harrison Ford about anything, it's just I don't know.
Yeah. Does Harrison sing? I know Carrie and Mark Hamill
have
sing.
to.
I don't know. I can't remember part song. But if you can, somebody did put it up on YouTube.
Yes, it is.
You
It is
need-
available.
If you truly want to immerse yourself in Star Wars lore, find the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Got it.
No, but because of this little gem of a thing, Jon Favreau is really trying really hard to petition to George Lucas to let him do a Life Day special.
Yes.
Which I think all Star Wars fans after The Mandalorian go, do it, John, do it.
I can do
What? So it's gonna be like Chewbacca's granddad watching Lizzo now? It's gonna be wrong.
It's not going to be that loud. I'm sure John has. I'm sure John has a plan.
Chewie's there like watching the WAP video with Cardi B.
PG guys.
But speaking of the Mandalorian, how do you guys feel about this? Like all the new shows that are coming out, that have come out, are coming out. Like the Bad Batch, I think just
Bad
started
Batch,
streaming,
yeah.
or it's going to start streaming.
Mandalorian is genius.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You know, like the way, and you know, like from a technical standpoint, it's just genius how they're making that show with that virtual background.
Yeah.
It's just strange to me. It's like, wait, so they took video game technology and did this, and it works? Isn't this the same engine that runs Mortal Kombat? This is nuts.
But the thing is, it's a fantastic way of filming during the pandemic when you can't use physical locations,
Yeah.
or it's difficult. You now have a virtual space.
But I mean, they did it even before the pandemic anyway. They were planning to do it that
Yeah.
way anyway. So it was.
Maybe they knew.
They knew.
John-
No. We're not a conspiracy theory channel. They are not do not put conspiracy theories. You want to do conspiracy theories, you can do on the channel. Okay, I will let you do it. Get not on that. Listen.
Disney did it from their secret base underneath the flat Earth, where the turtle brings us through the universe.
That is my response. If ever I meet a flat earther, I'm gonna go, yeah, we're a flat Earth traveling on the backs of 4 elephants who are standing on the back of a gigantic turtle pushing us through space. Like if you're gonna go flat Earth, you might as well go Terry Pratchett, man.
Yep. In terms of all the new shows that are coming out, Ahsoka's going to get one. Boba Fett is going to get one. I'm really looking forward to the Boba Fett one.
I'm looking forward to the Diego Luna one.
Andor.
That one, I'm like, because that world that Rogue One is from it's a cool world to check out.
Yeah.
Like from the opening few minutes of Rogue One, you just see Diego Luna just straight up kill an informant because stormtroopers are coming. Like, whoa, this is dark.
Immediately.
And
that's
no one does a rebellion sweetly.
I think that's another thing that made The Mandalorian work, because at the time there was a lot of talk of Star Wars getting their own TV show. They've been trying so hard to get it done, but it never been done. And then Mandalorian was in talks and people were already skeptical. And then you remember the opening scene of episode 1, where he literally, that sort of Western bar scene, where he beat the living crap out of everyone. I'm like, you know what? This is the show. This is The Mandalorian. It's done what it came to do. I'm in.
I think the thing also about The Mandalorian, that it was actually like very far. It was adjacent from the main story, like from the main, like the Skywalker family and legacy. So it gave them the freedom to tell a different kind of story within the Star Wars universe, which is also, again, I think also perhaps why Rogue One also works, because it is Skywalker legacy adjacent. So then, like, all the purists will not attack the show like crazy, because they're like, oh no, this one cannot, no, they don't do this, they don't do that, they don't do this, they don't do that. The only people who would attack The Mandalorian would be the people that read the books. And you know what? Since our entire legacy has been all shunted around, we're all going to be okay with it.
So what you're saying is basically just we need to get away from Skywalker and Han Solo's lineage. No, that's fair point.
Yeah. Fair point, because I mean, there's so much to explore within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Like you said, the expanded universe as well. There's so much content there already at your disposal. So,
which, can I bring it back to I think one of the latest Star Wars games, which was, again, there's so much legacy, there's so much things to explore. Like, I think the latest Star Wars game was the one Fallen Knight or something, where
what's going on?
It's like, no, because I'm trying to look it up. I'm trying to look it up on my Steam.
She's the dark side. He's the light side.
Dark side.
Which brings it back to Fallen Order, like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, right? Like, that's what, I think one of the main gripes that a lot of people go was, of all the characters to make the main character, you choose a cisgendered white male. Of all, you have this entire galaxy to play with, and you choose a white male. Okay, sure. I mean, I guess it's easiest. Maybe it's easiest to render.
Okay, but all the bad guys are traditionally stuck-up white males.
And British.
British, yes.
And British.
The Empire is basically Her Majesty's fleet colonizing space.
They're actually the Imperial.
Yeah.
No, the
Imperial Stormtroopers.
Yeah, exactly.
I say, we're going to take Andor for its minerals and curry.
I think another
Come to take your tea, Ewoks.
Wow.
Another
reason why The Mandalorian I felt worked is also the soundtrack that they had. I mean, that sort of futuristic Western sound, it sticks with you. The theme song, I mean, come on. The theme of Mandalorian is just iconic now.
It's my wife's alarm tone for waking up, which is disturbing.
No.
It helps to have this little guy just walking around.
Yes. Can we please take a moment to appreciate the puppetry that went into Grogu?
Yes. And I love that. Oh, let's not forget Herna Herzog.
Herna Herzog.
Yes.
Werner Herzog.
Werner Herzog, sorry.
Werner Herzog.
But if it wasn't
Okay,
for him,
Dick Norian.
if it wasn't for him, we would have gotten a actual practical effects Grogu.
What?
Yeah. Remember, so he insisted that you should have a
Gosh,
practical effects
do you
Grogu.
hear that?
I heard thunder.
Yeah.
And lightning, very, very frightening.
Yes. Yeah, if it wasn't for him, we'd have a CGI Grogu, which of course would not work. A practical effects Grogu
Yeah.
worked so well.
Because they had the practical effect, and then they were gonna do like, okay, just for safety, let's get the CG version set up, blah blah. And he's like, why? Why do you want to waste time? It works. Let's keep going. Don't be so lazy. Let's keep going.
Listen to me.
But I think, right, among all of the new shows, I mean, obviously Mandalorian Season 3, I don't know what it's going to be about. I already know it's going to be amazing.
Is there
It's-
Mandalorian season 3?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there is.
It's going to be Luke and Grogu at the Jedi Academy.
I was
yeah.
hoping
It's going to
it's
be
just gonna be.
Mandalore, I
It's
assume.
gonna be Mandalorian.
I was hoping just be the Mandalorian driving by himself, slow, with slow music. He just keeps looking at the chair,
Oh,
looking at the little ball.
Aww.
I wish it's going to be Luke Skywalker and Grogu at the Jedi Academy, but it's not.
I want to
Yeah,
see
but
Mandalorian.
It would be
I
about
want to see
Mandalorian War.
Mandalorian flying with the Nickelback play. Never made it as a wise man. He's holding the ball. This is how you remind me of what I really am.
oh no.
My God.
Split screen Grogu's at the academy. It's not like you to say sorry.
Grogu can suddenly speak.
Yes, he's learned at the academy. An elective.
He wouldn't say it like that. His grammar would be out of whack.
That's true. No, it won't, because it won't be Yoda teaching him English. He'll be Mark Hamill, like, no, the verb goes after.
And we still do not have a name for his race.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just the green things.
Yes. At Love
But yeah.
Egg.
Oh,
Sorry,
Jesus.
it's really storming here.
There you go.
Wow.
See, it's left me. It's come to you guys.
Then now it's reached me.
Yeah, I heard some already.
So
but
it's
not
close.
that loud yet.
I'm still safe.
But yeah, like coming back to this, right? I think there's definitely gonna be a lot of non-Skywalker content coming up. But I think the one that everybody's talking about is the Rian Johnson trilogy. If he's still doing that,
Is he?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
he's doing the Knives Out trilogy.
Yeah.
he
I don't-
is.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Signed with Netflix.
Yep, 2 and 3.
Sorry.
Um,
I have very deep love for Rian Johnson ever since Brick. Because Brick, if no one's ever, Brick is like the best like teenage like neo noir ever.
And it's not just because JGL is in it, which she loves.
No. Oh yeah, no.
Back then you did. Oh, you had such a Jones in for the JGL.
I still have a Johnson for the
There you
JGL.
go.
It's JGL. Come on, like
Yeah, that Johnson trilogy, I think, isn't happening anymore. Although Lucas has said, "I have plans for more films." I'm like,
Disney has said, it's okay, keep the scripts, we're good.
Yeah, Granddaddy, no.
I feel like they should stop making the films for now. Take a long break and give us all these sort of like expanded universe. To which after that, maybe build a movie
Based
within this
on
sort of universe. Yeah, essentially the Marvel way of doing it. Like spend 10 years building it up, and then give us sort of like an Avengers type Star Wars film.
The only reason that they've been able to do that with Marvel is because of Kevin Feige and his insistence on that, right? Like
Take
for Marvel.
Kevin and put him in Star Wars. You've already got
No,
Jon Favreau.
no. Get Jon Favreau
That's
to
true.
help Star Wars. Don't give it to J.J. Abrams because he has failed us.
No, take Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, because Dave Filoni is like the biggest Star Wars nerd. Like he knows the entire encyclopedia of Star Wars lore. So take him with Jon Favreau, and I think, you know what, we're golden.
But poor Jon Favreau is going to be tied to Star Wars for like eons.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he can, mix things up and like do like a chef style movie, but with Star Wars.
Ooh.
in the cantina.
Remember that big multi-armed chicken thing that meets Obi-Wan in episode 2 in the diner, in the space diner? Yeah, like it's just a story about him.
That's another thing I want to bring up. How are we all feeling, and are we all looking forward to the Obi-Wan series with Hayden Christensen coming back?
I'm kind of curious.
Curious is the right word. I have no expectations for it.
What I find interesting is if this is taking place after episode 3, how much of Hayden Christensen are we seeing? Because is he going to take off the... Oh.
It'll probably be him like, have you found him yet? Not yet, master. And then you found him. I'm pretty sure that's about all he can do. And it's just going to be a lot of shots of Ewan McGregor just looking at this baby who Baru and Owen have. Just like, still safe. Still safe. Okay. Walk away.
Has he always been there?
Yeah. Since they dropped him off, he was just, in the caves.
Hanging around.
They actually had, I think in one of the comics, they addressed the whole, like, how come Obi-Wan didn't train him whilst he was there? Like, in one of the comics, they had a scene where his uncles just basically like, stop coming here. I don't want you to, like...
Ideas into his head.
Let's get rid of this whole Jedi stuff, He should just work on the moisture farms, which I'm like... Wait, so he works at Spritzer?
Yeah.
And again, there's that other rumor of like now if Luke's gonna pop up in the Obi-Wan series, because if they've already done Luke in Mandalorian, which I'm still disappointed was not Sebastian Stan, and now there's all this talk of like Sebastian Stan has come out to say, well, if Mark Hamill says okay, I'll do it. Like that's his only stipulation. If Mark Hamill says sure, go ahead.
That has, right?
Nice.
No, Mark Hamill has said this. It's not my place to say because I don't have total control over this character. It's not like I direct the show or write the show.
Yeah.
I'm not the casting director, but I mean, like, hey.
It is weird that he calls him son.
Right?
Serious?
What?
Serious?
Yeah, Mark Hamill calls Sebastian Stan his son.
What?
Wait, does that work age-wise? I think it does, right? It does.
Yeah, it would.
Mark Hamill is super old now.
Yeah.
I won't put super old.
Yeah, he's super old now. He's Alec Guinness old now.
No, how old?
Yes.
No.
How old did you think he was in Star Wars? He wasn't a teenager.
Yeah, but he can't have hit 60, right? Is he?
Yes.
Check.
Wait, Mark Hamill is 69?
Yeah.
69?
It's the Western of it. It's the Western.
What? Nick, calm down. Oh my gosh.
I thought he's at least maybe like 59 or something. I didn't know he hit past 60.
You do know Harrison Ford's old as well, right?
But Harrison Ford looks old. Harrison Ford looks like he's 90 and still wants to do Indiana Jones.
Let him do Indiana Jones.
He's going to end up with a walking stick at one point doing Indiana Jones.
No, they need to do a crossover. Indiana Jones meets National Treasure.
Yes.
I would totally. Yes.
Nicolas Cage, they're like, there's one guy I know who knows about this. And he goes meets Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Okay.
So then you can actually use old Harrison Ford.
Sorry, dude. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so bringing back to Star Wars. Okay, now we're talking more towards the fandom area lah. So for me, because I'm kind of new to all this, so I've met people who are very open with newcomers. It's like, oh, come on, just join in, like watch this, watch that. And there are people who are like, no, it's like, oh, you're a new person. You've only started with 7, 8, and 9. Like
Don't
you
talk to
can't
them.
come in.
Yeah, those guys are snobs.
Don't talk to them.
Yeah.
No.
Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially for fandoms, you should be welcoming to anybody who just wants to be part of the fandom.
No,
Like,
yeah,
why not? The more
stop.
the merrier.
Stop gatekeeping, okay? Like, who are you to be why are you gatekeeping? Why must it be a you and them? Why must it be us and them? Like, like we're all one happy family.
I mean, you won't get those snobs that are like, oh, only the original trilogy is the best. All the rest are shit. Like, but really, Amelia, really. But yeah, all the merrier in the fandoms. Everybody is
I've always hated people like, oh, so you're into this. Really? Well, what is this then? What is that then? It's like, I need your permission? Who are you?
It's not an exclusive club. It isn't.
It isn't.
And also, especially
everyone.
Especially since we're with you guys and me, we're girls, right? I mean, like the entire geek fan, like everything geeky, everything nerdy, like like has this gigantic gatekeeping that happens for females, where they all think that oh, you're just into it because it's cool, or like oh, do you really know your thing about all of these things? Like, oh my god, like and then they have to feel the need to quiz you, and I'm like, bro, like macam in the beginning you knew everything was wala.
That's why I love messing with Star Trek fans. Because Star Trek fans can be very, 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 like, what's the word? Anal? About facts and what's good and what's not. So I love to just go up to them and be like, Deep Space Nine doesn't work.
Like, oh, the Next Generation is the best show. No, it's not. It's the original Star Trek, and then this sort of like,
Deep Space Nine fans just got to them, but like, Babylon 5 was better.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So whenever they're trying to say like, no, Star Trek is always better than Star Wars, all I usually say is Voyager. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Voyager is 6 seasons of episodes where like we found a way home, and by minute 41 we did not find a way home. Meanwhile, let us eat this weird alien food. Next episode, we found another way home. We do not use that way home. Final episode, time travel. Found our way home.
We really want to be funny.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you were to recommend, a movie series or a video game or a book to any new Star Wars fan, where would you guys begin?
I want to say episode 4. Just to introduce it. Because it's like, and yes, I know, like you guys said, especially for you guys, the effects look really terrible. But it's like, episode 4 is a good litmus test to see, like, okay, even though the effects have aged, does this story grab you? And if it doesn't, then it's like, there's no point in showing. If someone doesn't like episode 4, they're gonna watch episode 1 with utter derision and disgust.
Yeah.
Some people have no choice.
Yeah.
Some people had no choice.
Yeah, some people had no choice. Some people started that way. That's fine. But if they've never seen any of the movies, like episode 4 is like a good test to see, like, okay, bearing in mind that it's one of the slowest lightsaber fights in existence. Oh, your skills have gotten better, Don. That's better? How slow was he back when he was young? Like if you can get past all that and still think it's cool and fun and it grabs you, great, works.
Yeah.
Because if you start with episode 7, 8, 9 and then go back and be like, what?
It's an interesting approach though, because I don't know, when I'm trying to convince somebody to watch something that I love, I always want to show, this is the most exciting one. Watch this, and then hopefully they're hooked, and then they can watch everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Natalie. Like, I would actually, depending on the age, I'm sorry, depending on the age of the person I'm trying to introduce the series to. Like, if it's someone like young, someone new, someone who's not used to watching actually, like, like, for lack of a better term.
Were you going to say vintage?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Vintage media, I would actually introduce them with episode 7. And then, instead of ask them to watch episode 7 and then episode 8, I would say, okay, you watch episode 7. Does this intrigue you? If this intrigues you, I would urge you to watch episode 4, 5, and 6. And then jump back to 8. And entirely forget episode 1, 2, and 3. And I'm like, and then stop at 8 and don't need to watch 9.
I feel like
there are only 6 movies.
I would introduce people to the original trilogy, like especially episode 4, because I mean that's where it all started. And if they really wanted to watch it, I would still recommend 1, 2, maybe not 3, yes. But if they really want to know, or if there's something like you say, something new that I really want to get them intrigued by, I would actually still go with Mandalorian. Even though it's a TV show, I'm like, if this intrigues you, you might enjoy the films too.
Mandalorian's very different though. I mean, it's how sorry, but it's how like when we people are ask us for recommendations to watch Doctor Who, we always say that it's Blink, which is again like the Mandalorian. Surprisingly, is the Doctor-like episode that doesn't have the Doctor, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't know because like I get what you're coming from with Mandalorian, but to me it's like to me it has to be a movie simply because just by the way the movie's open, right? So it's like if you can get through this crawl of reading and not go, why the hell is a movie starting with an essay? You know, if you can get through that, accept it, you are fine with everything else.
the conceit.
Because you know, I remember as a kid, like just what so much reading. Why's the homework? What's going on? What? Who are these guys? What? Huh? You know?
But I do have to say, especially when I first watched it, what grabbed me, it wasn't the crawl, but what grabbed me was the opening. Like that theme always gets to me. Like in a galaxy not so far away.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Far away, sorry.
Not so far away. You call yourself a worst fan.
In a galaxy super far away.
Oh god, that sounds worse.
Did Rogue One start with a crawl? I can't remember. I need to rewatch it again.
Rogue One, no.
I don't think
Only
so.
the Star Wars movies start with a crawl, but like Rogue One, Solo, no.
Crawl either, yeah.
They made it kind of like no, it has a crawl if it's a Star Wars.
Skywalker Saga.
Yeah, not even Skywalker Saga, just like what they call the main films.
But I always find it
Skywalker Saga.
Yeah. The original crawl was actually done by hand, like somebody with a plate of the scroll just like moving it past the camera.
Actually, that brings up an interesting thought. Do you think the Star Wars universe will ever get to the point where new fans, you don't recommend them the original movies? They're so old, recommend them like something newer, it's continuously expanding after all.
That's something I would like to ask the younger generation. I mean, again, showing age, but like for us, I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, Kaya Media, we would always recommend the older trilogy, that somebody should watch the older trilogy because I mean that's where it all started from. But say somebody sometimes
like them, they wasn't the because that's the new thing that's out, that's the thing you watch.
Yeah, like there's a whole generation who their first trilogy was 7, 8, 9. So to them, that is their original trilogy. So I feel like I don't know. I cannot speak of whether people will still recommend 4, 5, and 6 as the first watch.
I think they will, simply because let's take a franchise like Star Trek. We were talking about Star Trek earlier. Like, I didn't watch Star Trek when it came out. I'm not that old. When I like.
You mean the OG?
If you want to talk about Star Trek, like for my generation, it was Next Generation because that came out in the 90s. Right? But because of Star Trek Next Generation, and then you had the Star Trek movies with the OG cast, and all these other Star Treks, you go, well, what's the original show? And you end up going backwards anyway. And, like, for some, they might think like, oh, I can't watch the original series anymore because it's so old and cheap and janky. And Kirk likes to take his shirt off a lot.
And Shadow talks like this all the time. It's cool.
But to me, that is my favorite series. Like, once they put all the Star Treks on Netflix and I got to watch all of them, like, no, original series beats Next Generation, which is a controversial thing to say, but I truly believe that. So even with Star Wars, no matter how great the effects are, I think, because that's the thing, I don't believe the movie is about the world it's in, but the stories they're telling within that world. It'll still work even if the lightsabers don't look great, if the stories are still the stories that they are.
So long as Star Wars wants to tell the stories that revolve around the Skywalker family tree, you cannot run away from recommending people to watch the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Because 4, 5, and 6 is the crux of the current storyline and the universe that they're trying to tell. But if you start moving away from the main trilogy, like from the Skywalker family, then you have the opportunity to then people may not recommend the original trilogy to begin with.
Okay.
Okay, but then again, all right, let's try non-sci-fi then. If you're watching, let's say you discover Law and Order SVU, right?
That's different. Okay.
It's different.
Let's say you start off with
Episodic
watching
show.
TVs and you discover Law and Order SVU, right? Do you then go back to OG Law and Order, or you're like, no, Law and Order SVU is my jam. Special victims are my favorite victims.
I'll take it one step further. You've watched The Dark Knight Returns, that trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, and you go back and discover, Keaton's Batman and Val Kilmer's Batman. But what happens when you discover Burt Ward and Adam West Batman? Like that, I feel that's going to be okay. Both of you, do you know the OG Batman TV series back in the day? No, I just want to know. Vaguely, but and it's incredibly different from what we have today. It still works. It's still amazing, but it's just very, very different.
I don't know. I always feel that like the original source material will always hold up because, like, look at comics. Like Batman issue, like the first appearance of Batman in Detective Comics, is still a good read. Issue 1 of the first appearance of Spider-Man Amazing Stories is like it is still the same story that every single Spider-Man is based on. You can't run away from it. And they've rebooted the origin so many times, but you still want to go like, I want to see the original Stan Lee, and it wasn't Joe Kirby, it was someone else. I remember. Comic book and see like does it still hold up? Oh yeah, Ditko. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Because Kirby kept drawing Spider-Man too heroic. And Stan Lee didn't like that. He wanted, Peter Parker to look like a kid. But Kirby made him like this. So yeah.
Okay. Throwing the question back at you two, like, what would be the first movie to ask people to watch from your perspective of Star Wars?
So I feel like at this point I echo what you guys have said. Like I would definitely ask people to watch the movies. And I think from a practical standpoint, maybe watch 1 first because it's a good in-between of modern and old. And then watch it chronologically from there. But it's a lot easier to get. Admittedly, it's a lot easier to get through than watching like episode 4 for the first time. But
wait, you think the effect in episode 4 is that bad? that Jar Jar Binks is better and a better experience?
I think for most people they'll feel that way. But
really?
I have to admit, like I'm a purist in that sense. I have to watch the source material for everything that I go into. But like for somebody like Jury, for example, I would probably ask her to watch 1 first.
She also did start watching it from 1 because that's what her dad.
I know it's just the idea that 1 would be easier to get into than 4's because 4's graphics are so dated, and I'm like,
which is also,
at this point, Jar Jar Binks is also a very dated graphic.
which is also where my approach would be 7 and then 4, 5, 6.
Jerry, what about you?
It's because they're
I'm the new one.
Yeah.
I'm the new person. I don't know what to recommend yet. I'm just getting into it.
That's a good question. Like being very, very new and the first movies that you saw, would you already recommend it to somebody, or would you wait first to fully delve yourself into it before you start going, hey, you should watch this?
Thinking it from a perspective of like people who are very new to pop culture, because I'm considerably new to pop culture in general, because I'm more towards the Japanese and Korean end of stuff. So to me, I think Mandalorian would be a good try because it, so to say, is within the hype. Like if you really want to get like youngsters like that, you go through the hype first, and then when it really hits you, is where you start digging the past and like the original series and 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. That's from my perspective. Also because like the pull of how relationship of the Mandalorian and Baby Grogu has yeah, that can actually like attract people more than like the original series, like for very, very, very new people to like this kind of stuff. Yeah.
I have to add on to that though, because I've had like multiple people, friends, internet friends, who have all gotten into Star Wars because of The Mandalorian and because of that father-son relationship that people are somehow drawn to. I think it's the cuteness of.
So when you hear that from those people, do you say, "Oh, if you like Mandalorian, you got to watch episode 1"?
It
I
has
would
a
say-
really cute character that's equally as dope.
But speaking of Mandalorian, and there's also I think a couple of series that all of us have so far forgot to mention, which is basically Attack of the Clones and Star Wars Rebels. Especially since like jumping off from like Mandalorian with the introduction of Ahsoka, who is in Attack of the Clones. I think also some people also like, especially kids nowadays. Their first introduction to Star Wars might actually be Attack of the Clones because it is a cartoon that is still running, and even Star Wars Rebels, but which I don't watch because
Actually, yeah.
I never quite explored that side of Star TV series, the cartoon series, but I watched like 10 minutes of the Bad Batch just to see what it is, and I think you do have to have a base of the Clone Wars in order to watch it. I mean, it opens up with the Clone Wars logo, and then it fizzles out to the Bad Batch. So already there, you're like, oh, I hear fan. I hear strong fan.
Sorry.
Fan.
But yeah, I feel like I need to watch Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels now that I want to watch the Bad Batch.
Yeah, so actually, but maybe another way also people like, because sorry, I'm not finishing sentences. Another way to muscle would actually probably be Rebels, because Rebels is actually also, it starts off lore light, because I did watch a bit of Rebels in the beginning, and it was like so it introduces a lot of different concepts as well. It does have a strong Mandalorian presence, so because there are Mandalorians in the party, and also a newbie Jedi, so maybe actually Rebels would be a good place to start people off as well, because for Attack of the Clones you need to know who Obi-Wan is, you need to know who Anakin is, you need to know all these things. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yes. You need to go, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Yeah, plumbers.
And they jumped the gun, which I was like, God damn it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this is as good as place as any to end.
Yeah.
So sorry about
Can
that.
just wrap it.
No worries.
It's fine. We're near the end either way.
Okay.
But thank
Alright.
you so much for having us.
Yes.
It was a very
Thank you
fun
for
talk.
coming.
Thank you for coming as well.
Yes.
So,
Final.
any final words you want to say? Like, you want to promote Geeks in Malaysia? What do you have?
Plug.
So we are Geeks in Malaysia. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter at Geeks in Malaysia. Please go and follow us on and subscribe on our YouTube channel as well. We've got a whole bunch of videos that should be coming out soon. If you want
I feel like the whole of our previous podcasts.
Yeah. And yes, our archive podcasts are there. If you want to find us, we're on all podcasting platforms. So if you find us on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts, every day, every Thursday, every week.
Yep.
Unless it's not on that week.
Yeah. You'll find updates on our Instagram. Yeah. So
Yes, follow our Instagram.
Okay.
follow us. You can always contact us, talk to us. We always love comments. We'll always reply.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah, we are also on YouTube actually.
Oh,
Julie?
Yeah. So we have actually also have a YouTube channel. So you can check out all our videos. We'll be uploading most of our lives from Facebook onto YouTube. So all of you guys can check it out as well. We have gaming lives, we have podcast lives, and even events. Our events lives are also there. Like we make events for like we had a VTuber event, and we also had like a event with like gamers and like stuff. I'm bad at actually why you do this to me. But yeah, do check it out. And also we'll be having we live stream every week. And the upcoming gaming live stream would be Natalie's stream.
Yeah. I'm streaming Oxenfree.
Sweet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so come and watch me get scared, I guess.
So yeah, thanks again. On behalf of all of Geeks in Malaysia, thank you again for having us on the stream. to talk everything about Star Wars. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we had a lot
didn't
of fun.
reveal
too.
your agenda too much.
It's okay. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and I'm glad.
Awesome.
We're glad that you guys had a lot of fun too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having us, man.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you everyone for joining. Bye.